Hello everyone, good morning and welcome back to science class. Last class we have been discussing about the different kind of microbes what do they do which are very harmful to us, and they are disease causing microbes causing different kind of diseases in us. So we have learned about that. Today we have been we'll learn about food poisoning. Okay, that means how the food becomes or gets contaminated with different kind of microorganisms and becomes toxic. When we take this food or when we eat this food, then immediately what happens? We suffer from different kind of problems. So any kind of food which is contaminated with microorganisms will lead to food poisoning. Okay. Now the symptoms. What are the symptoms which we get when we suffer from food poisoning? Generally you will see that people suffer from high fever, or they suffer from diarrhea. You'll see them vomiting, okay, nausea, all these kind of things you'll see, and immediately the particular person has to be taken to the hospital or the clinic so that he gets the proper treatment. Now one thing you have always seen, that when a person suffers from diarrhea, he is always given a sachet where it is written ORS. So what is this ORS? ORS means oral rehydration solution. When a person suffers from diarrhea, then what happens? There is loss of water from his body, salts from his body. And this ORS is nothing but a combo of the water, the salt, that is the sodium and the chloride and the potassium ions, and the sugar also. So when a person starts taking this, he recovers very soon along with the medicines. So what we need to do so that we don't suffer from food poisoning? For that we need to preserve our food. So how can we preserve our food? There are different ways by which we can preserve our food. You see, I have written here 6 ways by which we can preserve our food. The first is by chemical method. Chemical method means we need to add some chemicals in the food products like sodium benzoate or sodium metabisulfite, which will inhibit the growth of microorganism. Okay. Next, by adding salt. Salts are added in pickles. Why? Because they checks the growth of microorganisms. Similarly, by adding sugar. Sugars are added in jellies, okay, and other sweet products. Why? Because it reduces the moisture content and that will stop the growth of microorganisms. Next we have oil and vinegar. Oil and vinegar will never allow the microorganisms to attack the food products, and that is why we use oil and vinegar for different kind of food products. Next, by heat and cold treatments. By heat, what we do with milk. If we want to keep the milk for a long time, we go for boiling it, isn't it? You have seen your mothers boiling milk for a long time. So that will prevent the growth of microorganisms. Even you can refrigerate also. If you refrigerate the food products, it will go to such a low temperature that the microorganisms cannot grow there. And lastly, in heat and cold treatments, there is a word pasteurization. Pasteurization of milk. Okay, how is it done? The milk is heated to about 70 degrees Celsius for 30 to 40 seconds and then suddenly cooled or suddenly chilled. So in this way, the growth of microorganism is inhibited in the pasteurization of milk, and people can have the pasteurized milk when it is cool also. Next is by storage. Storage, we have already learned in the first lesson that how we need to store the food grains or the different kind of dry fruits, because we need to protect them from different kind of insects, from pests, and even also from moisture, because that all will lead to the growth of microorganisms. And by packing. Okay, it should always be airtight, because if air is there inside the packet, then it will allow the growth of microorganism. Okay, so the packet should be properly sealed so that it is airtight. So these are the 5 ways by which we can preserve the food. So students, today we have learned what is food poisoning, what happens in food poisoning, why does food poisoning occurs, and what we need to do when we suffer from food poisoning, and how can we preserve the food. So I would like to ask you to go through the topic of NCERT textbook so that it will give you a better understanding, and it will also help you to prepare the notes and definitions. You need to prepare the definition for what is food poisoning, okay, and what are the symptoms generally people have when they suffer from food poisoning. Then please write about this ORS, why ORS is given, okay. Next, what do you mean by food preservation? Why should food be preserved? Next, what are the different ways by which we can preserve the food? Please go through this in your textbook also nicely. It will help you to remember it for a long time. And I hope you understood this topic, and please prepare a short note on the topic which is taught in the class today. Thank you.